You know what's absolutely wild? Right now, as you're reading this, there's a simple, overlooked factor that could be quietly sabotaging your performance in the bedroom. And no, I'm not talking about stress, age, or any of those usual suspects everyone keeps bringing up. I'm talking about something so basic, so everyday, that you probably don't even think twice about it. Something that's sitting right there, within arm's reach, maybe even on your desk right now. And here's the kicker. Most men have no idea that this one thing is directly connected to the quality of their erections, their stamina, their hormone levels, and even their confidence between the sheets. You might be thinking, this is going to be some complicated medical explanation, or another expensive supplement pitch, but trust me, it's not. What I'm about to reveal is so simple that when you hear it, you might actually laugh. But once you understand the science behind it, once you see how profoundly it affects every single aspect of your sexual function, you'll never look at it the same way again. So stick with me here, because by the end of this, you're going to have a completely different understanding of what your body needs to perform at its peak, and you'll have practical, actionable steps you can implement immediately, today, right now, to start seeing improvements. No prescriptions needed, no awkward doctor visits, no expensive treatments, just pure evidence-based information that actually works. Let's get real for a moment. Your body is an incredibly complex machine, but at its core, it runs on some pretty basic principles. One of those principles is this. Over 60% of your entire body is made up of water. That's right. More than half of you is literally just water. Your brain, about 73% water. Your heart, your lungs, about 83%. Your muscles, roughly 76%, even your bones, which seem so solid and permanent, are about 31% water. But here's what most people don't realize. Your blood, the very substance that makes an erection physically possible, is approximately 90% water. Let that sink in for a second. 90%. That means when you're not drinking enough water, when you're even mildly dehydrated, you're directly impacting the primary mechanism that makes sexual function possible. And we're not just talking about severe dehydration here, the kind that lands you in a hospital. We're talking about the everyday, chronic, low-grade dehydration that affects millions of men without them even knowing it. Think about your typical day. You wake up, maybe you have a coffee. Coffee's a diuretic, meaning it makes you urinate more, which means you're losing water. Then maybe you have another coffee mid-morning, more water loss. Lunch comes around, maybe you have a soda or an energy drink, more diuretics, more dehydration. You go about your day, stressed, busy, forgetting to drink plain water. By evening, your body has been running on a deficit for hours, maybe even days, if this is your regular pattern. And all that time, your blood has been getting thicker, more viscous, harder to pump through your system. Your heart has been working overtime just to maintain basic circulation. And when it comes time for sexual activity, when your body needs to rapidly redirect blood flow to create and maintain an erection, it simply doesn't have the resources to do it efficiently. The machinery is there, the desire might be there, but the fuel, the actual physical medium that makes it happen, is running low. That's not a psychological problem. That's not an age problem. That's a hydration problem. And it's completely fixable. But let's go deeper, because the connection between water and sexual function isn't just about blood volume. It's about blood quality. When you're properly hydrated, your blood has the right consistency. It flows smoothly through your vessels like a clean river. All the nutrients, all the oxygen, all the hormones that your cells need get delivered efficiently. Your cardiovascular system operates at peak performance. Your blood pressure stays in a healthy range without your heart having to strain. Your vessels remain flexible and responsive. Now contrast that with dehydration. When you don't have enough water in your system, your blood literally becomes thicker. Medical professionals call this increased blood viscosity. It's like trying to pump syrup through a straw instead of water. Your heart has to work harder. Your blood pressure can become irregular. The small capillaries in your body, including the incredibly important ones in your penis, don't get adequate flow. And here's something most men don't know. The tissue in the penis is called the corpus cavernosum, and it's essentially a sponge-like structure with thousands of tiny blood vessels. During arousal, these vessels need to rapidly fill with blood and then stay filled. If your blood is thick and sluggish from dehydration, that process becomes compromised. You might get partial erections, or erections that don't last as long, or you might notice they're just not as firm as they used to be. And the frustrating part is, you might not even connect it to something as simple as water intake. You might start worrying, questioning yourself, maybe even considering medication, when the real solution might be as straightforward as proper hydration. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you even more. The hormonal impact of dehydration. Testosterone is the primary male sex hormone. It's responsible for so much more than just libido, though that's certainly a big part of it. Testosterone affects your muscle mass, your bone density, your mood, your energy levels, your confidence, and yes, absolutely your sexual performance. Your body produces testosterone, primarily while you sleep, in your testes, and the levels fluctuate throughout the day. But here's the catch. Testosterone production is incredibly sensitive to stress, and dehydration, even mild dehydration, is a physical stressor. When your body doesn't have enough water, it goes into a kind of emergency mode. It starts prioritizing essential survival functions, things like maintaining your core temperature, keeping your brain functioning, regulating your heart rate. Everything else gets pushed to the back burner. And unfortunately, your reproductive system is not considered essential for immediate survival. So it's one of the first systems to get deprioritized. When you're dehydrated, your body increases production of cortisol, which is your primary stress hormone. Cortisol is useful in short bursts. It's what helps you respond to danger. But chronic elevation of cortisol is terrible for your health, and especially terrible for your testosterone levels. There's an inverse relationship between these two hormones. When one goes up, the other tends to go down. So consistent dehydration leads to consistently elevated cortisol, which leads to suppressed testosterone. And suppressed testosterone means lower sex drive, less sexual response, reduced erection quality, and often psychological effects like low mood and decreased confidence. It becomes a vicious cycle. You're dehydrated, your testosterone drops. You feel less interested in sex. Maybe you have some performance issues. That creates psychological stress, which raises cortisol even more, which suppresses testosterone even further. All of this could potentially be interrupted by something as simple as drinking enough water. But it gets even more intricate. Your liver and kidneys play crucial roles in hormone regulation. Your liver helps break down old hormones and clear them from your system. And it also helps convert certain hormone precursors into their active forms. Your kidneys filter your blood, regulate electrolyte balance, and help maintain the conditions necessary for optimal hormone function. Both of these organs require adequate hydration to work properly. When you're dehydrated, your liver becomes less efficient at processing hormones, which can lead to hormonal imbalances. Your kidneys have to work harder to concentrate your urine and preserve water, which means they're less effective at their other jobs. The entire endocrine system, your body's hormone network, functions best when all the organs involved are well hydrated and operating efficiently. So by neglecting something as basic as water intake, you're potentially creating cascading effects throughout your entire hormonal system, effects that directly impact your sexual health and performance. Let's also consider the psychological and neurological aspects. Your brain is highly dependent on hydration. Studies have shown that even mild dehydration, as little as 1 to 2% loss of body water, can negatively affect mood, concentration, and cognitive function. You might feel irritable, foggy, or fatigued. Your reaction times slow down. Your ability to focus decreases. Now think about sexual performance. It's not just a physical act. It requires mental presence, confidence, the ability to relax and enjoy the moment, emotional connection with your partner. If you're walking around mildly dehydrated most of the time, your brain isn't functioning optimally. You might feel more anxious, more in your head, less able to stay present during intimacy. You might be more prone to performance anxiety, more likely to overthink things. And for men, performance anxiety is one of the leading psychological contributors to erectile difficulties. So hydration isn't just about the physical mechanics of blood flow. It's also about creating the optimal mental and emotional state for sexual activity. When your brain is well hydrated, neurotransmitters function better, stress levels are lower, mood is more stable, and you're more likely to feel confident and present during intimate moments. There's also the energy factor. Sexual activity, while hopefully enjoyable and not feeling like work, does require physical stamina and energy. Dehydration is one of the fastest ways to zap your energy levels. When you don't have enough water, your cells can't produce energy efficiently. The mitochondria in your cells, which are essentially your cellular power plants, need adequate hydration to function. Without it, you feel tired, sluggish, unmotivated. You might notice you're dragging through your day, reaching for coffee or energy drinks to compensate, which, as I mentioned earlier, often makes the dehydration worse. And when it comes to intimacy, if you're already exhausted from chronic low-grade dehydration, you're not going to have the energy or enthusiasm for satisfying sexual activity. This can affect your relationship, your self-esteem, and your overall quality of life. And again, the solution might be incredibly simple, just drinking enough water consistently to keep your energy levels stable throughout the day. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because knowing that water is important is one thing, but understanding how to drink water properly is where most people miss the mark. You might think drinking water is straightforward. You get thirsty, you drink, done. But actually, there are ways to optimize your hydration that can make a significant difference in how well your body absorbs and utilizes that water. These aren't complicated biohacks or expensive protocols. They're simple adjustments based on how your body actually works. And when it comes to supporting sexual health specifically, these details matter. First, let's talk about the pace of drinking. Your kidneys can only process a certain amount of water at a time, roughly about 27 to 34 ounces per hour. If you chug a massive amount of water all at once, thinking you're catching up on hydration. Much of it just passes through you without being absorbed. You'll urinate more frequently, but you won't actually become more hydrated at the cellular level. The water doesn't have time to distribute throughout your body, to reach your bloodstream in optimal amounts, to hydrate your organs and tissues. Instead, it's much more effective to sip water gradually throughout the day. Keep a water bottle with you. Take small sips regularly. Let your body absorb and utilize the water over time. This creates consistent, sustained hydration rather than peaks and valleys. Your blood volume remains stable. Your blood viscosity stays optimal. Your organs function consistently, and your body isn't constantly fluctuating between states of dehydration and overhydration. Here's another one that might sound strange, but actually has a basis in both traditional medicine and modern physiology. Your posture when drinking. When you're standing up and drinking quickly, your body is in a more activated sympathetic nervous system state. Your muscles are engaged, your organs are compressed differently, and your digestive system doesn't work as efficiently. When you sit down to drink, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. Your body is more relaxed. Blood flow to your digestive organs increases, and your system is better prepared to absorb nutrients and fluids. This might seem like a minor detail, but over time, consistently drinking while seated can improve overall digestion and circulation, including pelvic circulation, which is directly relevant to sexual function. Plus, taking a moment to sit down and drink mindfully, rather than gulping water on the go, has psychological benefits too. It forces you to slow down, to be more present, to actually tune into your body's needs, rather than rushing through your day on autopilot. Then there's the temperature of the water you're drinking. Many people prefer ice-cold water because it feels refreshing, especially on a hot day. But cold water actually requires your body to expend energy to warm it up to body temperature before it can be properly absorbed and utilized. This temporarily slows down your digestive processes and can even constrict blood vessels slightly. Room temperature or slightly warm water, on the other hand, is much easier for your body to process. It gets absorbed more quickly. It doesn't shock your system, and it supports rather than hinders digestion. In Ayurvedic medicine, which is one of the world's oldest holistic healing systems, warm water is considered ideal for most people because it's thought to stoke the digestive fire and improve circulation. Modern research has started to validate some of these traditional observations. Warm water can help relax muscles, including the smooth muscles in your blood vessels and digestive tract, which promotes better flow and function throughout your body. For men concerned about blood flow to the pelvic region, this is particularly relevant. Here's one that might really surprise you: the practice of mixing water with saliva before swallowing. This sounds odd if you've never heard of it, but it's actually based on sound physiological principles. Saliva isn't just water. It contains enzymes, particularly one called amylase, that begin the digestive process. Saliva is also slightly alkaline, which helps buffer stomach acid and prepare your body for optimal absorption. When you take a small sip of water, hold it in your mouth for a moment, swish it around and mix it with your saliva, and then swallow. You're essentially pre-digesting that water. You're priming your body to absorb it more effectively. This practice comes from traditional systems like Ayurveda, but modern nutritionists and functional medicine practitioners have started recognizing its value. It forces you to drink slowly, which, as we discussed, is better for absorption. It engages your digestive system properly, and it helps maintain the pH balance in your stomach, which is important for overall digestive health and nutrient absorption. Better digestion means better absorption of all nutrients, including those that support hormone production and vascular health. Now let's talk about timing, because when you drink water can be just as important as how much you drink. One of the biggest mistakes men make is drinking large amounts of water right before bed. The logic makes sense. You want to be hydrated overnight. But here's the problem. Drinking a lot of water before sleep means you'll likely wake up multiple times to urinate. And interrupted sleep is absolutely terrible for testosterone production. Your body produces the majority of its testosterone while you're in deep sleep. If you're getting up 2 or 3 times per night to use the bathroom, you're fragmenting your sleep cycles, reducing your time in deep sleep, and consequently reducing your testosterone production. Over time, this can have significant cumulative effects on your hormone levels, energy, libido, and sexual function. A better strategy is to taper your water intake in the evening. Drink plenty of water throughout the day, but start reducing your intake a few hours before bed. You might have small sips if you're thirsty, but avoid chugging glasses of water right before sleeping. This way, you maintain hydration, while also protecting the quality of your sleep, which in turn protects your hormonal health. Another timing consideration is around meals. Many people drink large amounts of water with their meals or immediately after eating, but doing this can actually dilute your stomach acid and digestive enzymes, which makes digestion less efficient. When digestion is compromised, your body doesn't extract nutrients from food as effectively, and many of those nutrients, things like zinc, magnesium, B vitamins, healthy fats, are essential for testosterone production and vascular health. So by drinking too much water with meals, you might inadvertently be reducing your absorption of the very nutrients that support sexual function. A better approach is to drink water about 30 minutes before a meal, or wait about 30 minutes to an hour after eating before drinking significant amounts. This allows your digestive system to function optimally. Your stomach acid remains concentrated enough to break down food properly. Your enzymes can work effectively, and you absorb more of the beneficial nutrients from your food. There's also an interesting consideration with water-rich fruits. Foods like watermelon, oranges, cucumbers, tomatoes. These are already very high in water content. When you eat them, you're hydrating your body through food. But if you immediately drink water on top of eating these foods, you can overload your system with liquid, which again can dilute digestive juices and slow digestion. A traditional practice in many cultures is to avoid drinking water for about an hour after eating very watery fruits. This allows the body to process the natural water in the fruit, extract the nutrients, and maintain proper digestive efficiency. It might sound overly detailed, but these small practices, when done consistently, can significantly improve your body's overall function, including the aspects related to sexual health. Let's talk about the actual quantity of water you should be drinking. The old rule of 8 glasses a day is a decent starting point, but it's not personalized enough. A more accurate guideline is roughly 2.5 to 3 liters per day for most adult men, which translates to about 10 to 12 glasses. But this isn't a rigid prescription. Your actual needs depend on several factors: your body size and weight, your activity level, the climate you live in, your overall health status, and even your diet. If you're physically active, if you exercise regularly, you'll need more water to replace what you lose through sweat. If you live in a hot climate, you'll need more. If you eat a lot of salty foods, you'll need more water to process that sodium. If you drink coffee, tea, or alcohol, all of which are diuretics, you'll need more water to compensate. The key is to find the right amount for your specific situation and then be consistent about it. One of the simplest ways to gauge your hydration status is to look at your urine. This might seem crude, but it's actually a remarkably accurate indicator. Ideally, your urine should be a pale yellow color, almost like lemonade. If it's dark yellow or amber colored, you're dehydrated and need to drink more. If it's completely clear all the time, you might actually be drinking too much water, which, yes, is possible. Overhydration can dilute your electrolytes, particularly sodium, which can lead to a condition called hyponatremia. This is rare with normal drinking habits, but if you're consistently urinating completely clear and drinking massive amounts of water, you might want to pull back a bit and focus on balance rather than excess. The goal is consistent, adequate hydration that keeps your urine that pale yellow color throughout the day. Another indicator of hydration is how you feel physically. When you're properly hydrated, you should have good energy levels. Your skin should look healthy. You shouldn't feel constantly thirsty, and your mental clarity should be good. If you're experiencing frequent headaches, persistent fatigue, dry mouth, dizziness, or difficulty concentrating, these can all be signs of chronic dehydration. And as we've discussed, all of these symptoms can indirectly affect your sexual function. If you're tired and foggy all the time, if your body is constantly operating in a deficit state, sexual performance is going to suffer. By addressing the underlying hydration issue, you can often see improvements in multiple areas of your life simultaneously. It's also worth considering the quality of the water you're drinking, not just the quantity. Tap water in most developed countries is generally safe, but it can contain chlorine, fluoride, and sometimes traces of other chemicals, depending on your local water treatment process and the age of your pipes. Some men find that filtered water, whether through a simple pitcher filter or a more sophisticated system, tastes better and encourages them to drink more. Spring water can be a good option if you have access to a reliable source. The most important thing is that you're drinking clean water regularly. If the taste of your tap water discourages you from drinking enough, investing in a filter or buying bottled water might be worthwhile. The goal is to remove any barriers to consistent hydration. Now let's connect all of this back to sexual health in a very practical way. Imagine you start implementing these hydration practices consistently. You're drinking 2.5 to 3 liters of water per day, spaced out gradually. You're sipping rather than chugging. You're sitting down when you drink, taking a moment to be mindful about it. You're drinking room temperature or warm water instead of ice cold. You're timing your water intake so you're not drinking huge amounts right before bed or immediately with meals. You're paying attention to your urine color and adjusting accordingly. What happens over the next few weeks? First, your blood volume and viscosity normalize. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard to circulate blood. Your blood pressure stabilizes. The small blood vessels throughout your body, including those crucial ones in your penis, receive better, more consistent flow. Your cardiovascular system operates more efficiently. This alone can lead to noticeable improvements in erection quality, firmness, and duration. Second, your hormonal system starts to balance out. Your cortisol levels decrease because your body isn't constantly stressed by dehydration. As cortisol goes down, testosterone production can increase. Your liver and kidneys function more efficiently, processing hormones better. You might notice improvements in libido, energy, mood, and overall vitality. These hormonal improvements don't happen overnight, but over several weeks of consistent proper hydration. Many men notice they feel more like themselves, more energetic, more interested in sex, more capable of performing well. Third, your mental and emotional state improves. Your brain functions better when it's well hydrated. You think more clearly. You're less prone to anxiety and mood swings. You have better focus and presence. During intimate moments, you're more in your body, more connected with your partner, less in your head worrying about performance. This psychological shift can be just as important as the physical improvements. Sexual satisfaction isn't just about mechanics. It's about the total experience. And being mentally and emotionally present is crucial for that. Fourth, your energy and stamina improve. When your cells are properly hydrated, they produce energy more efficiently. You don't experience the same afternoon crashes. You have more physical vitality throughout the day, including during intimate activities. You're not relying on artificial stimulants like excessive caffeine, which means you're not creating additional dehydration. You feel more robust, more resilient, more capable, and this physical vitality translates directly into sexual confidence and performance. The beautiful thing about all of this is that it's completely within your control. You don't need a doctor's prescription. You don't need expensive supplements or treatments. You don't need to have awkward conversations or invasive procedures. You just need water and the knowledge of how to use it properly to support your body's natural functions. It's empowering to realize that something this simple, this accessible, this inexpensive can have such a profound impact on an area of your life that's so important to your well-being, confidence, and relationships. Of course, proper hydration isn't a magic cure-all. If you have serious medical conditions affecting your sexual function, if you have cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hormonal disorders, or other health issues, you absolutely should work with healthcare professionals. Hydration will support your overall health, but it's not a replacement for medical treatment when medical treatment is needed. Similarly, if you have psychological factors contributing to sexual difficulties, things like relationship stress, trauma, depression, or anxiety, those need to be addressed through appropriate channels, like therapy or counseling. What proper hydration does is create the optimal physical foundation. It ensures your body has what it needs to function at its best. It removes a common but often overlooked obstacle to good health. It sets the stage for everything else to work better. Think of it this way. You could have the best engine in the world, but if you don't put enough oil in it, it's not going to run properly. Your body is similar. You might have good genetics. You might eat relatively well. You might exercise. But if you're chronically dehydrated, you're not giving your body the basic fuel it needs to perform optimally. And sexual function is one of those areas where your body's overall health status becomes very apparent. It's a sensitive indicator of cardiovascular health, hormonal balance, psychological well-being, and overall vitality. When you're properly hydrated and your body is functioning well, your sexual health typically reflects that. When you're not, sexual issues are often one of the first signs that something needs attention. So where do you start? It's actually quite simple. Begin today, right now. Get a water bottle that you like, something that's easy to carry with you, that holds enough water that you don't have to refill it constantly, but not so much that it's cumbersome. Fill it up. Start sipping. Pay attention to how much you're drinking. Most people are shocked when they actually track their water intake for the first time and realize they've been drinking far less than they thought. Set reminders on your phone if you need to, every hour or so. Just a little prompt to take a few sips. After a few days, it becomes habit. After a couple of weeks, it becomes automatic. You'll start noticing the signals your body sends when it needs water. You'll become more attuned to your hydration status. Track how you feel. Notice your energy levels, your mood, your mental clarity, your physical vitality. Notice your sexual response, the quality of your erections, your level of desire, your stamina and confidence. Give it 3 or 4 weeks of consistent, proper hydration and see what changes. Many men are surprised by how much better they feel across the board. And if you do notice improvements, you'll have powerful motivation to maintain these habits long term. This isn't about a quick fix or a temporary change. This is about understanding your body's needs and meeting them consistently. It's about taking responsibility for your health in a practical, achievable way. It's about recognizing that sometimes the most powerful interventions are the simplest ones. Your body is incredibly resilient and responsive. Give it what it needs, and it will work better. It's that straightforward. So drink up, be consistent, pay attention to the details, and watch how something as simple as proper hydration can transform not just your sexual health, but your overall quality of life.